Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Florida Gators continue to build one of the best classes in 2024, landing another commitment from four-star offensive tackle Fletcher Westphal. And this was a very highly coveted offensive tackle. He ends up going with the Gators, and it seemed like it was coming down to Florida and Clemson. And Billy Napier and the Florida Gators get it done, and you see the frame, and that's probably what excites you most about this kid. 6'8", 335, and you can't teach that type of stuff. And you look at a guy like Mike Williams, too, another offensive tackle in this Florida Gators class in 2024. They're getting guys who, maybe some work in progress in terms of the athleticism and technique, but you can't teach the size of these offensive tackles that the Florida Gators are bringing in. If you get them in year one, year two, you get their bodies right, you get that technique right, you're looking at all SEC caliber play from a lot of these tackles that the Florida Gators have brought in 2024. A lot to be excited about. Now, before we get into Fletcher Westphal, I just want to say shout out to the Florida fans. We have talked so much Florida Gators football in terms of the recruiting trail. Been one of the hottest teams on the trail, and the support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And then more importantly, we just released our deep dive into this Florida Gators team in 2023. So we get to talk a little bit about what we think this team will look like on the field. Would love for you guys to check it out. I'll link it up there. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys, of course. And let's get into Fletcher Westphal. And then I want to talk a little bit about what this 2024 class looks like. And then who are we targeting and what could really round out this class in 2024? But Fletcher Westphal, a guy 6'8", 335, crazy good length. And one thing, and we'll get into the film right now, that maybe, and I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm some sort of offensive line guru. He does seem like he plays a little high, right? 6'8", sometimes it's hard to kind of fire out and keep a low pad level. That being said, with the size and strength this guy has, like, it doesn't really matter because he just eats people up. And maybe it's just like he's 6'8". It looks like he's playing just a little high because he's an absolute monster. But he's a guy that very, very strong, has good feet for a guy who is 6'8". And you check him out on the defensive side of the ball, like, he can move. Laterally, he can move. He's got really quick feet. And that's probably the biggest thing you want to see checked with a guy this big is, does he have that athleticism to deal with the speed he's going to see at that SEC level? And I think he does. But I think his real game is just getting downhill, putting people in the dirt. And that's kind of what the Florida Gators want to do. Like, you want to be a physical team up front. You want to run that football. And Billy Napier, guys like Mike Williams, Fletcher Westphal, that kind of shows what they're going to do. And here's the athleticism that I see, like, just really good feet. He's able to get out. He produces a lot of power. A lot to like about what Fletcher Westphal brings to the table. But what's even more exciting is taking a look at this Florida Gators class in 2024. You're talking about the number 3 class in the country. This will be their 18th commitment, and it's some sticking power. Like, this is going to be a top 5 class in the country. I don't know if you're going to catch Georgia or Ohio State, but I don't know if many teams are going to catch the Florida Gators in terms of this class and staying at number 3. And you kind of check all the boxes, right? DJ Lagway, your 5-star quarterback that I just saw him run like 20 miles per hour on an incline treadmill. Like, DJ Lagway is an absolute freak. And if he hits on his potential, you're looking at one of the best quarterbacks that'll be playing college football. And then I love what they've done on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the front seven. Like, Xavier Filsaime, like, I love his game. He's going to be kind of an NFL draft pick kind of safety. But you look at that front seven, Adarius Hayes, Miles Graham, Jamonta Waller, Aaron Childs. I mean, those guys are legit studs at the linebacker position. Jamonta Waller is going to be a phenomenal edge rusher. And then you got the big dogs too, right? Nasir Johnson, really excited about what he brings to the table. Amarius Williams. You have that front seven that I feel like in a little bit has kind of lacked that depth. And what's something we've talked about, we're not going to be lacking any more depth in this front seven. This is going to be a physical group with athletic linebackers that are going to be flying around the football. Really exciting. You pair that up with how Austin Armstrong wants to run it on the defense side of the ball, you have to be thrilled. And then you have some pass catchers for DJ Lagway to work with. Dre Hawkins legitimately might be one of the fastest, if not the fastest player in this 2024 class. You pair him up with Isaiah Williams. You got Cannon Daniels in there. And then the tackles. Like, I'm as much as Mike Williams, like, he's the 113th tackle in this class, like the same thing we talked about with Fletcher Westphal. He's 6'7". He's 310 pounds. You feel good about the frame they brought in, and you feel good about Billy Napier and his talent eval, right? He's a guy that went out and got a guy like Osiris Torrance when he's coaching at Louisiana, obviously brought him over to Florida. Cyrus Torrance was another guy that was ranked similarly to Mike Williams. And what does that tell you about Billy Napier? It tells you he knows how to evaluate talent. 24/7 Sports might not see it in Mike Williams, but if Billy Napier and this offensive line staff does, I'm going to trust him there. What I want to talk about, though, is what this class really could look like if the chips start falling for Florida. And the chips have already fallen really well for the Florida Gators. But there's a couple other guys that I want to talk to. And the first guy I want to talk about is Tawaski Abrams. You're seeing a lot of buzz about a potential flip. And if you can get Tawaski Abrams in this class, you pair him up with a guy like Jere Hawkins, you're talking about some crazy speed in this 2024 class in terms of these pass catchers. And that's on top of a class in 2023 where we brought in Aiden Mizell, Eugene Wilson, Andy Jean. Like those are some crazy, crazy talent for a guy like DJ Lagway to be working with. You have a nice offensive line and Fletcher Westphal and Mike Williams. Another guy I want to talk about, and we're going to go all the way with Xavier Mincy. That would be if he gets in the boat and you're talking about Xavier Filsaime and Xavier Mincy, you're talking about a really good safety group that kind of reminds you of like the safeties you had last year. Those are some really, really quality guys. The last guy I want to talk about, and this really could be the crown jewel of this Florida Gators class and really round out what I think is a phenomenal class by Billy Napier, is LJ McCray. He's from the state of Florida. Everyone's battle. He's a riser according to 24/7 Sports, kind of a riser up a lot of boards. Man, 6'6", 260. He has that position versatility. If the Florida Gators can add him into the class, and you have elite linebacker class coming in, and then you have an elite defensive line class coming in, that front seven for the Florida Gators in the future, you combine that with guys like Kelby Collins in the 2023 class, you're looking at one of the more dominant front sevens in not just the SEC, but in the country on the defensive side of the ball. So if they get LJ McCray into the fold here, this is a special class for the Florida Gators heading into 2024. And you have to be extremely excited about what Billy Napier is doing. And this is something we've talked a lot about. Billy Napier could have hammered the transfer portal a little harder than he did. I think we all agree upon that. And I think at some points fans were frustrated that he didn't get more guys in the transfer portal. What Billy Napier seems to be doing is we're going to build this thing the right way. You see a lot of early head coaches go to the transfer portal. And I'm not saying that's a bad move, but it's not a sustainable move. Right? If you want to build this program the right way and be like a national champion SEC contender in 2025, which I fully believe the Florida Gators can do with the talent that they're bringing in, it has to get down in the high school ranks. And so, yeah, maybe there's some growing pains. Maybe this is a team that doesn't win as many games as you want in 2023. But in 2024 and 2025, when you continue to pay all your attention to this high school class, you get these guys into the program and you develop them, we're talking about a special team in 2025. 2024. And so it's one of those things that, yeah, Lincoln Riley went through the high school, the transfer portal really hard and maybe neglected. Well, he didn't really neglect the high school class, but Billy Napier, especially in comparison to a lot of these other head coaches, is focusing on the high school recruiting and doing this right for a sustainable way. And if you're Gator fans, I think it's maybe requires a little bit of patience, but I think you are going to be looking really, really good the next couple of years with how good this high school class is starting to look up. Again, LJ McCray gets in the fold, massive, massive class, but you do get Fletcher Westphal, another big offensive tackle in your 2024 class. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.